Hi. Merry Christmas. It's Christmas Eve and I'm recording this in my cozy little living room. I was tempted to wear my Christmas hat, and then I wasn't sure if the light would show up on my YouTube video. I do this podcast. Oh, it looks so cute. I do this podcast recording on my phone. And also, I record it with my webcam, and then I put it on the YouTubes. So if you ever want to see me talking at you instead of just listening to the podcast, you can watch on YouTube. So it's a little bit difficult to watch me on YouTube because as I'm recording this, I'm looking at my reflection in my laptop, but the camera is a little bit higher. And so it's super weird to not look at myself, especially now that I'm wearing a blinking Christmas hat. So much sidebarring. I realized recently that I'm a sidebarer. I have a lot of sidebars in my combos. Anyway, welcome to the podcast. It's Christmas Eve and I am in Miami. Last Christmas was my first Christmas after I left Minnesota and was living in Miami, but I went back home for Christmas. This year I went home a couple weeks ago and stayed an extra day to spend a little extra time with my family so I could not have to go right back for Christmas. So I chose to be here and not travel for Christmas. And I'm fighting the melancholy because I really miss my family. I miss home and I miss familiarity. And so there's a temptation I gotta take this hat off. There's a temptation to feel a little sorry for myself. So I have to keep saying, you chose this. I could have gone home. I actually had the tickets booked. Now I have hat hair, you guys. I actually had the tickets booked and I chose this. So I'm not letting myself be a little whiner. But it is really interesting. It's different to be completely away from home for Christmas. I have spent many Christmases where I didn't spend the day with my family, but I was home. I could have if I wanted to. So it's kind of strange. But the main reason for not going back is my son, Steven, lives in Raleigh, North Carolina. And he wanted to come to Minnesota with me for family Christmas, and we couldn't coordinate the dates and the flights and things with his work schedule, and then he celebrates Christmas with his dad's family as well. So we decided that we will coordinate a trip to Minnesota in the winter instead. So I'm here. I have my little tree. I love my little tree. Last year I didn't get a tree. I tried to find one and they were all sold out or something. But this year I got a little tree. I have a few ornaments. I put them on there. I don't have a star for the top, but Linda, my dear friend, my sister from the universe, went to Portugal and she brought me back this beautiful clay little plaque. And it says dream big and I love it. So that's the star on my tree. And then just a few ornaments. Every year I always buy myself a new ornament. This year I went to Target in Minnesota when I was there, and there was a billion ornaments. If you live in Minnesota or you've been to Minnesota, Target is the deal. Target is like where you go. Target tells you what you need. You cannot get out of Target for under $100. It's just a happy place to go, especially when it's cold outside and there's nothing else to do. You go to Target. And so I did that when I was in Minnesota. It was so much fun. I had some time to burn, and so I went, and they have this wonder shop, and they have so much Christmas stuff. And they have ornaments, every kind of ornament known to man. And so I was so excited to look at them, and then I thought, I don't want to pack an ornament. I'm going to just go when I get back to Miami and pick out my ornament. Well, that was a bad idea because do you know what Miami doesn't have? Christmas ornaments! I went to two different Targets. They had like nothing. They had the most like ridiculously tiny Christmas section. It's like this city doesn't Christmas, which I guess makes sense because it's such a diverse culture here. But I don't know. I mean, I still feel like there's a lot of people here. There's a lot of Jewish people, and so there's a lot of the Hanukkah decor and colors and things like that. But there's still a lot of people who I believe celebrate Christmas. So I got one ornament, and I'm not that stoked about it, even though it's pink. And my diamond shoes are too tight. Don't you feel so sorry for me as I'm complaining about something like this? Anyway, but my favorite ornament is my very first ornament I got when I moved here last year. I didn't know anyone really, and I I just started the boot camp, and Javier, the very first person who came to boot camp, he's standing behind me in the blue shirt in the Miami Beach boot camp canvas on my wall. He was the very first person to come to boot camp. He still comes regularly, and last Christmas he brought up to my beach towel where I led class, he brought a little gift bag, and from his wife and daughter and him was a Christmas ornament, and it's a little flamingo, little fluffy pink flamingo with a Santa hat on it. Super duper cute. And so that has a special place of honor on my tree. I love it so much. So also behind me, if you're watching on YouTube, you see there's a random thing sitting on my couch. So because I'm not doing anything for Christmas and because I don't have family here, decided to take a little time, initiative, and money and love on the people who live at the beach. So there's quite a sizable population of people here who are experiencing homelessness. And I have seen quite a few of them around where I live. The beach is always beautiful. There are typically people sleeping on the beach when I arrive for boot camp, people sleeping in the park. It's room temperature outside all of the time. So when you don't have a home, you can survive here pretty easily because the elements are so gentle. In fact, again, this boot camp picture on the wall behind me, there is somebody sleeping under the lifeguard station in that picture, which is perfect. And so I've seen and I've interacted with quite a few people here in my neighborhood that are experiencing homelessness. And it's one of those issues that's just so sensitive because a lot of them have some resources and they're choosing this lifestyle. Some of them do not. And some of them are truly in between stages of life. Some of them, this is the way they live their life and they wouldn't choose something different, honestly. There's some really sad situations where clearly there's some mental illness that's not being managed, or they're not getting the resources they need to be well. And it just depends. I mean, for anybody to lump all of these people into the same category of situation or need is incredibly ignorant. I have to say, when I moved here, I was incredibly ignorant. I'm still ignorant compared to what all of the information there is to learn about these beautiful souls. And I consider them beautiful souls. There is no hierarchy in humanity at all. These people are lovely and lovable and beautiful, and the situations that they're experiencing are varied. And so when I just recently started a second location for the boot camp down on South Beach, so I'm at Mid Beach. So I'm to give you an idea, if you're not familiar with Miami, the geography, Miami Beach is a long strip of land that is separated from the main land of Florida, Miami, with some bridges. And then Miami Beach, basically the streets are numbered in order. So down at the southernmost point of Miami Beach would be 1st, and actually 5th Street is kind of where South Beach starts. And then it goes all the way up to, I think it's 198th Street. So it's a long strip of land. So I'm in the middle. I'm in the 60s. And South Beach is like 5th to 25th. And so our new location is down at 21st Street Beach. And so it's definitely more touristy. It's more South Beach. There's a lot more going on. And the park that I pull up into in my car 4 days a week to run boot camp, there's a lot of people there that live right there in that park, or they live nearby and they come to use the showers and the facilities right there. So I'll get out of my car. Here's me pulling up in a convertible, little spoiled, in the grand scheme, spoiled, incredibly blessed, wealthy woman walking up to run a boot camp. And here are these people who are carrying their possessions in a suitcase or a shopping cart. So I am very aware when I pull up just how incredibly fortunate I am with the things I have. It's ridiculous. But I get out of my car. They're in various stages of getting, kind of waking up for the day. And they are so sweet to me. There's a group of guys that are usually sitting on this little half wall, kind of shaking out their blankets and folding things up. They are always so kind to me. Good morning. How are you? They always have something so positive to say. They always offer to help me carry things. So I always have my arms full of microphones and speaker packs and signs. And one day it was raining and I pulled up and they were shaking, all of their stuff was wet. I said, "Oh, you guys got rained on." And he said, "Just a happy little shower." You can't get this one guy particularly, you just can't get him to say anything negative. Not that I try, but anyway, and so I see these people every morning now, and I wish to love on them. It's not about like, oh, I want to help them. I have so much I want to give to them. Like, it's not like that at all, which I feel like, it can be insulting to some of these people. A lot of them, they want their dignity. They don't want to be looked down on. A lot of them are making a choice, or a lot of them don't have a choice, but they certainly don't want anyone rolling in and pitying them and throwing scraps at them. And so, I see them. They're just like me. And it's not always choices that gets us where we are. A lot of it is, circumstances beyond our control. And so I don't consider myself better or better off. I think some of them are much richer in their souls than I will ever be. So long story short, I really want to love on these people at Christmas, because it really occurred to me on Christmas, I get asked all the time, what are you doing for Christmas? Are you having a meal? Are you going home to your family? Everyone's asking each other, what are you doing for Christmas? I don't think anybody goes up to these people and asks them, what are you doing for Christmas? In fact, when they walk into places, into businesses, they're looked at with disdain. A lot of them are dirty. A lot of them are unkempt. A lot of them are smelly. Some of them probably have really bad behaviors. But regardless, they walk into any place and they are immediately looked at with disdain or disgust. They're not welcomed in and loved on. And certainly not at the holidays. People aren't asking them, what are you going to do for Christmas? And so I just thought, I just want to love on them for Christmas. I can't bring them to my house and cook for them. I don't have room. I don't have room for myself, and I don't have any cooking skills. But I can maybe bring some Christmas to them. So let the boot campers know, hey, I want to love on these people. And people were so generous and donated money. And so I went, did some shopping. So we've got little stockings that have, because there's some ladies that I see, they wear, like skirts and sundresses, and they're, usually getting cleaned up for the day in the restroom there by the parking, and they're doing their hair. And I'm like, they're women. They want to feel pretty. And Melissa, my friend and coach in boot camp, she said, they might like some nail polish or some fun things like that. So with these little stockings that have nail polish and eyeshadow in them, plus some chocolate. So, it's not just about giving them socks and toothpaste, which I am doing. There's socks and toothpaste, but presents, frivolity. Do they have needs? Sure. So do I. I still like a present that I don't need. That makes me feel good. So there's chocolates and nail polish and cookies and yogurt covered raisins and Muddy Buddies and cash and chapstick and lipstick and gift cards, and it's all in a big pile on my couch. Washcloths, things like that. So it's been really fun. Today I took a whole bunch of it and just went for a walk around my neighborhood and found people to hand some things out. And I don't know, it's just fun to gift fun things to people I don't know and just love on them. So that is my little Christmas project. Other than that, for Christmas around here, we had boot camp this morning. We did a fun 12 days of Christmas boot camp ladder. That was fun. I wore my light up hat. I felt very festive. But that's the extent of it. Tonight I went down to South Beach to walk around. They have beautiful Christmas lights everywhere and I love it. So I put on my Christmas outfit, my sparkly skirt and sweater, and just went for a walk all dressed up. And like, Christmas dinner, what do I want? What do I want that I never have? I eat so strict and I'm always, counting my macros. And this year was a really crazy year with bodybuilding shows and a lot of prep. And so I'm like, what do I really want that I normally just wouldn't have for a special occasion dinner? And it ended up being a slice of pepperoni and sausage pizza and a donut, which I didn't end up eating the donut because it wasn't that great, but it was at the pizza place and she put it in the oven and warmed it up so that the frosting melted. So it was really pretty. but it was still a mediocre donut, so I wasn't going to waste calories on it. But I had pizza and a latte and some donut, and that was my Christmas dinner, and I'm telling you, I was a happy girl. So, and now I'm home. It's Christmas Eve night. It's late, and I'm going to hit the hay pretty soon. I took a 3.5-hour nap today, and so I think I won't be falling asleep really soon, but that's okay. So, other than just updating you on my Christmas life, the main thing that I want to talk about today is the idea of getting a vision for your new year. Because without a vision, the people perish. That's what they call it, or that's what they say. Somebody said that. But we're at the end of the year and people tend to make New Year's resolutions and New Year's goals, which is totally fine. People poo-poo it and say you shouldn't need those. You should be living a good lifestyle all the time. Yeah. But you cannot deny the power of a fresh start and fresh set of downs. A Monday, the first of the month, or the first of a year. This year, the first is on a Saturday. So it gives you basically a weekend day, brand new day, get your head in the game and start thinking about what's 2022 going to be. And so before we get there, it's an interesting thing to really think about the next 12 months and get a vision. What do you want? Not just what do you want to do, but what do you want for your life? Do you want more rest? Do you want more harmony, more balance? Do you want more structure? Do you want to build something? Do you want to grow something? Do you want to be more consistent? Get a vision of what you want your life to be like, what you want to develop in your character. And then take a few moments and put that down into the things that you would need to do in order to achieve that vision. So if your goal is to be more balanced, well, what does that mean? Balanced in what way? Perhaps you realize you spend too much time working, not enough time with family. So to do might be to schedule in some play dates with your kids, schedule a date night with your spouse. If one of your visions for the new year is to build something, okay, generate ideas, do research, start putting some to-dos down, and then put a timeline on it. If you want to achieve all of this in 12 months, what do you need to do in the first 3 months of the year? What do you need to do by July 1st? What do you need to do to get going? And then get your calendar out and start scheduling tasks that will accomplish your 90-day goal, your 6-month goal, your 9-month goal, your 12-month goal. And it's really hard to do this far out, but you for sure the first 3 months of the year, you should be able to add action items to your calendar. So perhaps Friday nights is date night. Perhaps you pick 2 different nights during the week to work on your passion project. Or if you want to open an art studio, maybe you immediately in January schedule some time on your calendar to research, to call a broker, to go look at spaces. If your goal is to do a bodybuilding show, put it on your schedule to hire a coach, to go grocery shopping, to do research. I mean, sometimes the first things that we need to do to execute a vision is to do the research. And that's a to-do list item. That's something that you can cross off the list as part of the process. You have to start somewhere and you have to gather data. So getting a vision of what you want for your life is beautiful, but it only actually occurs when we take the action that we need in order to get what it is that we want. So I encourage you to come up with your vision and maybe even write a vision statement or a mission statement for your year coming up. I've been working on it. I haven't got it all figured out for myself yet, but I've been really thinking about what do I want and how do I want to feel? And one of the ways also to really figure out how you want to feel is to think about some of the current ways that you feel now that you don't like. And so for me, I don't like being tired in the middle of the day. I don't like feeling like I need a nap. So you know what I need to do? I need to go to bed earlier. I hate going to bed earlier. And so I have to stop and think, I'm going to trade that tired, exhausted feeling in if I can go to bed earlier. So when I see the alarm, I'll set an alarm saying go to bed. If I rebel, I don't want to, I have to stop and think, okay, I'm trading in my freedom to stay up late and binge watch a show or do a little more work. I'm trading that in for the feeling of energy for the entire day tomorrow. Or perhaps giving up sugar or something that you shouldn't be eating. Think about, how does it feel when you eat sugar? This is a big one for me. When I eat sugar, I feel like garbage. My body bloats. I get tired. I get hormonal. My moods are so affected by sugar. I get low. I get despondent. And I have to remind myself that when I make a rule, like I'm not eating sugar, my goal is to not eat any sweets in 2022. No desserts, no candy, nothing. Why? Because I am sick and tired of how I feel when I do it. I don't want to feel that way. And so when I think, oh man, this is so hard. No, what's harder is feeling like garbage, feeling exhausted, feeling lethargic, feeling despondent because I have sugar in my body. Sugar is poison to me. And I know this. And yet there are times where I see it and I want it so bad, I discard all of the consequences, all of what I know comes with it, and I eat it anyway. And then I say, why did I do that? So getting a vision of, I want to feel good all year. That's really part of my vision. I want to feel good every day of my entire year. I don't want to lose one single day to a sugar coma. And so in order to do that, in order to have that, in order to execute that vision, I have to give up the choice to put sugar in my mouth. So my rule, I'm not eating sweets in 2022. Why? Because I have a vision of not losing any of my days of the upcoming year to feeling like garbage. And it's because I know what it feels like to feel like garbage. So just an example of a way that you can really grab your vision and say, you know what, I got to count up the cost. Nothing is free. So if your vision involves something big that you want to get, it's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you a lot, most likely. How bad do you want it? This time next year, you're going to be sitting here doing the same thing, most likely. It's natural. It's what we do. We reflect, we plan, we resolve. Do you want to be sitting here saying, if only I had executed that vision, that mission, that plan? If only I had kept it in the front and center of my mind? If only. You don't want any if onlys in your 2022. You want, wow, I did this. Wow, this was tough, and yet. Make "and yet" part of your vision statement. Life will get busy. Life is going to throw you curveballs. You are going to experience sickness, pain, disappointment, frustration, failure, probably death of someone you care about, someone you know well. Life is going to get crazy. It's never going to settle down. 2022 is not going to be a quiet, peaceful, happy year. Why? None of them are. None of them are. It's called living life. So you have to decide what you want, period. And know that you are going to be distracted. You are going to be tripped up. The odds are going to be against you some days. You're not going to feel like it all the time. And yet, you're going to have a choice to still go after it or not. And that's your choice. So that's really all I have for you today. Just a little challenge to you. Get your vision. Get it on the calendar. Start counting up the cost. And if nothing else, just sit for a moment and imagine what it will feel like a year from now if you don't go after it, and how it would feel if you do go after it. Even if you only get halfway there, how good that will feel compared to how it will feel if you do nothing. Don't do nothing. Life is short. You get one big, beautiful life. Go get everything you want. Everything you want. You got to work hard anyway. May as well work hard for something that really, really matters to you. So, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Thanks for supporting me in my podcast and in all my ventures this year. It's been an exciting year. Quit the day job and went all in on myself with the boot camp and my personal training and my Kristen Experience Mindset Mentoring Program. Cannot help but mention here, if you have a goal in 2022 to lose weight, get fit, or to stop the whole yo-yo of dieting, we start a plan, stop a plan, start a plan, stop a plan. My mindset training programs, they're group training programs. We all together learn about how you can stop that yo-yo and build a plan for your entire life around the food behaviors, around the foods. Like I just set a rule, I'm not having desserts in 2022. That's a rule. That's hard and fast. I've committed to it. Now, if I go over my calories or I make a mistake or I want to have a cheat meal or whatever, I know it's not going to be sugar, which means that no matter what I do in 2022, I'm going to do far less damage to my body. I'm going to hit my goals much easier because that sugar is not going to be in my life. So if you struggle with eating on the couch, nighttime eating, boredom eating, we can create rules for you around those behaviors so that you can basically be following any plan and know, well, this time I'm not going to fall off this plan because I fell into a bowl of Cheetos on the couch because I don't eat on the couch, or I don't eat in bed, or I don't eat in the car, or I always eat off of a plate, or I always eat sitting down, or I only have treats on the weekend. Whatever rule will put a safety tape, a barrier around that hole you always fall into, you're guaranteed to reach your goals when those behaviors are managed. So that's what we do in the Kristen Experience and in my mindset training program. So if you want to join, I have a group starting January 3rd, which is the first Monday of the new year. So it's a perfect time to get support, be in a group, learn, have accountability. It's 90 days. So the first 3 months of your year are going to be learning and growing and implementing so that you could have this lifestyle change that most everybody is chasing as part of their new year vision. So if you're interested, you can find me at kristensmithonline.com. You can also find me on Instagram at the Kristen Experience. You can also just go ahead and send me an email, kristen@kristensmithonline.com. So that's all I have for you. Have a wonderful rest of your year and a happy new year to each and every one of you beautiful souls.